Shazam! Fury of the Gods is directed by David F. Sandberg. It stars Zachary Levi, Rachel Zegler, and Helen Mirren. And in this new DCEU movie, the Shazam family try to balance their teenage lives with their superhero egos, but when three gods come back to take over the world and take back their powers, they must save the world and their lives. Now, I quite like the first Shazam movie. I don't think it's anything fantastic. It felt unique, even though it wasn't. It's weird, but it's a fun little movie. It reminded me of the movie Big a little bit, a superhero version of that. If you haven't watched it, I'd actually suggest it. It's actually one of the only good movies in this cinematic universe. So I was actually very excited to see what they do with the second movie. Zachary Levi is just amazing as his character. And after coming out of this film, I didn't think it was bad, per se. I just found it incredibly mediocre and quite disappointing. But this movie has some really strong points. For one, I think the Shazam family dynamic was really strong. They had some nice banter there, some nice charisma. All of them had some fantastic chemistry, all the actors in that family. And every time they spoke to each other and had a bit of witty banter, it was nice, it was cute, and there were fun character interactions. And there's also a romance between Zach Dylan Grazer's character and Rachel Zegler's character. And it's a cute romance. It was surprisingly good. It turns what could be a cliche superhero teenage romance into the best part of the film. Or one of. And that was strange because they never really work in these sort of films. But the two actors had some really nice chemistry. And the romance takes a lot of twists and turns. You don't know where it's going to go. Will one of them die? Will they both live and live happily together? You don't know. And it's cool. It's a really good romance. And the film still holds that humour and energy and the charm from the first Shazam movie. The humour is still really strong in this. There was a few genuinely good laughs in this movie. Maybe not as much as the first one, but still, some good hearty laughs there. Everyone seems to be having a great time. There's loads of energy all around. And of course, all that charisma comes from Zachary Levi as Shazam. He is just perfect as his character. He's fantastic in the first film. He's still great in this. He was one of the best parts of this movie. He just brings so much charisma and charm to this movie. He's probably the main heart and soul. Without him, this movie would not have worked. And finally, while the action is just mostly, if not all CGI, it's still pretty entertaining. It's performed well. The CGI in the action scenes looks really strong for the most part. So yeah, for the action side of things, it was strong there as well. But where I take issue with this movie is the story. This is pretty much a carbon copy of the first movie's story. And they felt... How could I put it? It felt like they were cheaply upping the stakes. Instead of just having one of the same villain from the last movie, there's three of them. More stakes, apparently, and it just felt really cheap. I mean, Dr. Savannah was probably the worst part of the first Shazam movie. I thought he was a really boring villain. And if you thought he was boring in the first film, wait till you meet these three villains, because they literally have nothing, really. All I know about them is that their powers were taken away from them or something, and they're trying to get it back with the magic staff. That's it. There's no deeper backstory or anything. That is all they have to them, and it is so bland. And some characters are severely underused. Some of the Shazam family just had nothing to do. There's a couple of characters that were hardly in the movie at all. And, you know, they could have been cut out and nothing would have changed. So they were completely underused, I'd say. And it was quite disappointing because I really like that family's dynamic. And there is also some really, really bad green screen. You know that scene in Batman and Robin where Batwoman is hanging off the side of a building and like the green screen is shaking and she's shaking and it just does not match at all? Well, there's a scene like that where characters falling to their death and the green screen in that looked absolutely terrible. It looks so fake, so cheap. It takes you out of the moment like that. It was so bad. And finally, this movie has some of the most shameless product placement I've ever seen. For some reason, they thought that Skittles, the sweets, were a big part of the final act. To the point where they're literally saying the company's tagline, "Taste the Rainbow." Twice. I don't know why would you add this apart from promotional material? That's all it's there for. It was a cheap way just to get the plot moving in the final act. It was so dumb. It was stupid. It was just cheap product placement. It takes you out the movie because it's just so laughable and dumb. So overall, Shazam Fury of the Gods is a disappointment. It's not bad per se, but the story is still just really bad and lacking. The villains are bland. Some of the characters are stupidly underused. There's some bad special effects and everything. Pointless product placement. There's a lot to dislike about this movie. But I will say the humour, the action, the charm is still there. And it just makes it at least an entertaining subpar superhero movie. It follows the same formula and tropes in all these sort of movies so strongly. Like, it literally just grabs onto that formula by the grasp. Doesn't attempt to change it. And that's the biggest problem with this movie, really. Doesn't do anything to subvert your expectations. But it does have some good moments. And to be honest, if you like the first Shazam, you'll probably like this as well. But for me, it was okay, just mediocre. I'm just going to give it the middle of the road score of a 5 out of 10. Quite disappointing, really. I still really like the first one. And guys, that's it for the end of this review. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know what you thought of Shazam Fury and the Gods in the comments. Always love to hear your thoughts, people. Don't know what my video on Friday is going to be. I know we're just doing like random videos on that day now, but we will see what we do. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day. See you later.